Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Leila, and this experience occurred in 2004. Open quote. When the doctor told me I was dying, I knew I was terribly sick, but the news made me emotionally freeze, followed by fear. My loved ones came to my hospital bedside and said their final goodbyes. My pastor said a final prayer for me. Everyone was leaving my room. My son looked back and said, "Goodbye, Mommy. I'll come back to see you tomorrow to brush your hair." This was so heart wrenching. In my thoughts, I cried out to God to please help me because I did not want to die. I could not stay awake any longer. Next, I was above my body. I knew that I was dead. It was dark in the room, but I could see light. I was fearful at first, but the closer I got to the light, my feelings started changing. All fear and negativity disappeared. I did not walk into the light, yet it felt like I was being pulled into it. It was like being slowly sucked into the light. This light was so bright, yet it wasn't blinding, and it didn't hurt my eyes. The light was soft and comfortable, but brighter than looking at the sun. When I reached the brightest point, I was no longer moving. I was at peace. I felt so many positive and wonderful feelings, such as calmness, peace, joy, love, and trust. In that moment, my experience was orders of magnitude better than any kind of earthly experience. For instance, I consider a mother's joy and love felt from the birth of her child is the best earthly feeling, but this experience makes that appear like a drop of water compared to a vast sea or ocean of this experience. There was no other place I wanted to be. I could see a white, shadowy female figure. I heard a voice. But the male voice did not come from this figure. I was told to go back. All is well. The voice wasn't heard with my ears, but with my mind. I wanted to get closer to them, but couldn't. I knew that this was the boundary. When I refused to come back, the white, shadowy figure came closer to me. I knew this was my grandmother who raised me. She was bathed in soft, bright white light. It looked like cottony soft clouds, unlike wearing clothes. She told me that it wasn't my time and that I had to return. She didn't say why, but I knew it was because my work on earth wasn't done. My children needed me. This knowledge didn't come from me. It was given to me in that moment. Yet still, I did not want to return. In one quick movement, I was back in my body. The light was gone, and I woke up in my hospital room as I gasped for air. End quote. Leila offers some great descriptions about the light. Were especially, I thought, meaningful. It was so bright, brighter than the sun, but soft and comfortable. And of course, emanating the peace and love, calmness and joy, and the description of her grandmother bathed in soft, bright white light looked like cottony soft clouds. And she knew she had to go back because her work wasn't done. But who gave her that information? She says her grandmother didn't say why. She didn't say why, but I knew it was because my work on earth wasn't done. My children needed me. This knowledge didn't come from me. It was given to me in that moment. Who's giving Leila the knowledge? There's a lot of, well, a couple at least, experiences that we've listened to and read that have the split self. You have the big eye watching. You have the part of you still in heaven that knows what's going on, knows why you're going down to earth. Maybe. Maybe they're giving you that knowledge. You are giving yourself that knowledge. There are a couple questions here. At what time during the experience were you at your highest level of consciousness or alertness? Answer: the closer I got to the light and at the brightest point in the light. I do not want to note that despite I had religious beliefs prior to this experience, I still had questions, doubts on some things, and I was not practicing my religion or active in my church at this time. In this experience, I felt an inconceivable level of consciousness that then I knew to exist. I now have no questions of whether there is an afterlife. Question: please compare your vision. Answer: I do not. I do want to note that despite I had religious beliefs, I think that was the answer to the one we just read. Sorry about that. Did you pass into or through a tunnel? Uncertain. Question or answer: uncertain. When I first was aware I was outside my body above it, it was dark, but a light that got brighter as I was sucked toward it. Couldn't really describe it as a tunnel because no definite shape of what we know as tunnels, but completely surrounded, going from one point to another. But it was everywhere, no matter what direction you looked. It was toward the light. I can't definitely say it was a tunnel. Question: did you encounter or become aware of any deceased or alive beings? Answer: yes. My grandmother, who raised me but passed when I was 11 years old. Question: what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer: started out fear, quickly overcame by love, joy, peace, calm, trust, such wonderful tranquility, uplifting, and connected belonging, part of a whole universe. Question: did you suddenly seem to understand everything? Answer: everything about the universe, just given knowledge that the purpose is greater than the here and now, that nature, the world, the universe, and the afterlife is all one, that our purpose is so much greater than we live it, that there's so much more and not to fear. Completion is not earthly. Question: did scenes from your past come back to you? Answer: yes, like a movie in a flash, but it wasn't concerning to me. It was simultaneous to the rest of what was happening. Question: did you come to a border or point of no return? Answer: I didn't decide to return. I didn't want to return. When experiencing that, you'd never want to return. That experience all left behind, you didn't fear or worry. You knew all was well, but I was told to return, given knowledge that it wasn't my time, that I was chosen, and all was well. I had to finish what I was meant to do here on earth. As to definite knowledge of exactly what that is, I'm not sure. But it did include letting me know God's plan and my children needed me. I was disappointed that I was sent back, despite being scared and not wanting to die prior to this experience. But prior, I did call out to God to save me, that I did not want to die, pleading on behalf of my children. Question: what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer: Christian Protestant. I had my faith, but not practicing or participating in it or church. Question: have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer: yes. I want to read more of the Bible, to study it more, to learn how much of it I thought I once knew, that I've come to realize I was just a baby in what I know. And just when I think I get it all understood, I discover how it goes into so much deeper even. It's with the entire universe, and everything in it is like a tightly woven fabric of many colors, of the strongest threads that are unbreakable. The closer you look, the finer the details you notice, and how the threads are not individual as they seem as one. What is your religion now? Christian, Protestant. My religious beliefs have never been stronger. There are no doubts or questions in my mind that there is a heavenly place. This I know to be true! Exclamation mark. Question. Did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Content both consistent and inconsistent. I had religious beliefs but drifted away from the church. I wanted to believe, and yet too much in life had happened to not have questions. But this experience, I knew there's an afterlife. I knew the voice was from God/Jesus, but it's a feeling, not a particular thing to explain. My written experience says what I experienced, and that's how I know that my religious beliefs I once questioned, I no more questioned. I now know, all caps, without any doubts. Question. Did you have a change in your values or beliefs? Answer. Yes. Headstrong on my religious beliefs, the afterlife, and the real meaning and purpose of life. Question. During your experience, did you gain information about the universal connection or oneness? Answer. Yes. The knowledge was given to me on a telepathic level, not in words, not in events, but by being there in that moment. It's not a matter of time. Time is irrelevant. All else we worry about here on earth is irrelevant. It's a higher level. No words can explain. Question. During your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Answer. Yes. The voice I heard with my mind, not my ears, I knew was from God. I knew in the light it was God. Like being in the light, you are in Him or His presence, surrounded, encased in all of God. It's hard to explain, and I know my words aren't explaining it to the extent of it, or maybe not even in the right description, but there are no words. Question. During the experience, did you gain information about the meaning of life? Yes, that it's not ours, that we are just a part, a belonging to a much larger, complete oneness. We are all part of the universe, part of one entirety, that it's not up to us. We can ask, but ultimately it's up to the master plan that is not ours. During your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer. Yes, the closer to the light, the knowledge is just there in a feeling. You sense it, feel it, know it, are experiencing it. Question. Did you gain information about how to live our lives? Answer. Yes, there's nothing to fear. Life is like a young child that's scared of swimming in the lake. They fear it until they are in the lake and learn to swim. Then they don't want to leave it. Life is either a blessing. The only choice we have in it is to either enhance that blessing or live in the lessons. Question. During your experience, did you gain information about life's difficulties, challenges, and hardships? Answer. Yes. Part of the plan to form us into being whole/goodness. Question. During your experience, did you gain information about love? Answer. Yes, that earthly love has nothing on the after-earthly life love. Love is everywhere and surrounds us. We feel God's love, but it is God's action that tells us we don't just feel love, we must become love. Question. What life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer. Large changes occurred in my life. I believe the enemy came after me with the vengeance after I was sent back. I believe there is a great spiritual war between good and evil that exists, and the closer we are to God, the harder the enemy tries to bring us down. Question. Have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer. Yes. Separates toxic from good. Don't compromise your values. God doesn't. Question. Was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer. Yes. It's like watching your entire life like a movie, but in a single millisecond All the while, you are very aware of what's taking place. The feelings are so wonderful that there really are no words to explain. It's like knowledge given without words and feelings that have no words in our vocabulary. Question: are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant? Answer: that I was chosen to be sent back. Not very many are. That, I believe, is pretty special. Question: have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer: yes, I was scared to share it. Everyone has seen it on TV, and I watched how others reacted to it. I didn't talk about it because I didn't want to be criticized. It took me about 5 or 6 years later to speak about it to family and friends. I was dismissed as being hopeful or dreaming. I didn't share gain. I didn't share gain until later when I talked to the pastor who said my final prayer. Since then, I've not been afraid to share it. I feel bad for those who choose not to believe. It says I didn't share it again. Sorry about that. Question: what about the reality of your experience? It was definitely real. As I woke up after the experience, no doubts or questions, because all my questions slash doubts were answered. God truly does exist, and now many other unimaginable experiences and close calls fit right in with the battle of good versus evil. No doubts. My faith is only strengthened by my life's struggles, for I know there is more to it all than all this. I will follow the Lord always. Is there anything question, is there anything else you would like to add about your experience? Answer: I too did not believe in these kinds of experiences. I wouldn't say I thought others were lying. I'd say I was more apt to believe they had a dream or some kind of off balance or medication issue. But now I know better. End quotes. End questions. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.